on the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, and Prahlad Maharaj's prayers are now finished, and Lord Nrsingha is replying to Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj is, at this time, he's a young child, and he's very gentle, and Lord Nrsingha appreciates this quality in him.
Prahlad Maharaj, balak ne हुनुहुन्थ्यो र यसरी प्रहलाद महाराजले गरेको स्तुतिलाई प्रार्थनालाई भगवान नरसिंहदेवले अत्यन्तै महत्त्वपूर्ण दिनुहुन्छ.
To be gentle is a quality of somebody in the mode of goodness, and Prahlad Maharaj symbolizes the mode of goodness.
र प्रहलाद महाराज यो सत्वगुणमा हुनुहुन्थ्यो र सत्वगुणमा हुनु भनेको अत्यन्तै महत्त्वपूर्ण छ र प्रहलाद महाराज सत्वगुणीका मूर्तिमान स्वरूप हुनुहुन्छ.
In Bhagavad Gita, in 5th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampani Brahmani Govihustini Suni Chaiva Swapaki Cha Pandita Samadarshana. Lord Krishna is describing the vision of Paramatma, how one sees Paramatma everywhere. And Lord Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya, he describes the Brahman as being learned and gentle. So to be gentle is an important quality. It's a quality which we should acquire. If we're not gentle, we should become gentle. We should become kind and compassionate and gentle and not harsh in our dealings with others. Sometimes as devotees we can become very much influenced by passion and ignorance. We become very rough and we argue and fight. But these kind of qualities don't give good credit to the devotee. To be harsh and rough and quarrel and argue, fighting, these are symptoms of the mode of passion and ignorance, and these are symptoms of the demonic nature. We know that in the Kali Yuga, the devotee and the demon are in the same body. Devotee and the demon are residing in the same body. Someone may be, 1 minute they're a nice devotee, next minute they're very nasty, and they show the demonic nature. When Jagai and Madhai attacked Lord Nityananda and hit him on the head with a wine pot, Lord Chaitanya was very angry and he was going to kill them.
दण्ड दिन खोज्नु।
But Lord Nityananda restrained, he stopped Lord Chaitanya and he told him, he said, in the Kali Yuga you must be very merciful.
तर त्यतिखेर नित्यानन्द प्रभुले चैतन्य महाप्रभुलाई शान्त गराएर भन्नुभयो कि कलियुगमा हजुरले जीवहरूलाई दया दर्शाउनको लागि अवतरित हुनुभएको भनेर भन्नु।
We know in the Treta Yuga, Lord Ramachandra killed many Rakshasas. He went into the forest, into the jungles, and he took his bow and arrows and he killed many Rakshasas.
र त्रेता युगमा भगवान रामले वन गएर वनमा अनेकौं राक्षसहरूलाई यो बाण तीरहरू चलाएर उनीहरूलाई मार्नुभयो।
And then Lord Krishna in Dwapara Yuga, he used his Sudarshan Chakra to kill many demonic kings.
र त्यस्तै द्वापर युगमा पनि भगवान कृष्णले यसरी आसुरी प्रवृत्ति भएका राजाहरूलाई उहाँको सुदर्शन चक्रद्वारा सबैलाई दमन गर्नुभयो।
But in the Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda converted all the demons and made them into devotees.
तर कलियुगमा चैतन्य महाप्रभु नित्यानन्द प्रभुले यस्ता आसुरी प्रवृत्ति भएका मान्छेहरूलाई कृपा गरेर उनीहरूलाई भक्त बनाउनु।
So the devotee and the demon nature are both there within the same person.
त्यसै कारणले एउटै मान्छेमा भित्र भक्तका गुणहरू पनि अनि आसुरका गुणहरू पनि हुन सक्छ।
It's just like you may keep two dogs at home, and one dog is very fierce and the other dog may be very gentle.
र जस्तै हामीले एउटा घरमा दुईटा कुत्ता राख्छौँ र एउटा कुत्ता चाहिँ एकदम क्रोध एकदम अरूलाई हिंसा गर्ने खालको स्वभाव हुन्छ र अर्को एउटा कुत्ता चाहिँ सिधा सादा खालको हुन सक्छ।
So we have to be careful which dog you nourish, because if you nourish that fierce dog, then it will become more and more fierce, more and more ferocious, and give more and more trouble.
र हामीले आफै विचार गर्नुपर्छ कि यी दुईटा कुत्तामा हामीले कुन कुत्तालाई चाहिँ हामीले पोषित गराउने, पोषण गराउने। किन भन्दाखेरि जसलाई हामी पोषित गरायौँ त्यसैले हामीलाई फेरि प्रहार पनि गर्न सक्छ, राम्रो गर्यौँ भने राम्रो पनि गर्न सक्छ।
So we have to nourish the gentle nature. We have to cultivate the gentle nature, the nature of the devotee. And we can do that by proper methods of living and acting.
त्यसै कारणले यी दुईटा कुत्तामा उदाहरणले र जसलाई हामीले यो दुईटा कुत्तामा मध्ये जुन सिधा सादा कुत्ता छ त्यसलाई नै पोषित गरे जस्तै भक्तहरूले पनि आफ्नो आचरणद्वारा आफ्नो उठाइ बसाइद्वारा राम्रो गुणहरू त्यसले आर्जित गर्नुपर्छ।
Just like a devotee lifestyle, they will take bath 2 or 3 times a day, and they wake up early in the morning and chant mantra Hare Krishna.
जस्तै भक्तहरूको आचरणमा देखिन्छ बिहान छिटै उठ्ने अनि 3 टाइम स्नान गर्ने र यसरी उसको आचरणमा उसले सुधार्न सक्छ।
They have a regulated lifestyle centered around the service of Lord Krishna.
र यसरी भगवानको सेवालाई केन्द्रितमा राखेर हामीले हाम्रो आचरणलाई हामीले सुधार्नुपर्छ।
So when we engage ourselves like that regularly every day, it has a very purifying effect on our consciousness.
र यसरी हामीले हाम्रो दैनिक यसरी कार्यलाई लिएर गयौँ भने हाम्रो आचरणमा हाम्रो विचारमा धेरै सुधार आउन सक्छ।
And the sign that we're becoming purified means that we become less influenced by passion and ignorance.
र यसरी आफूलाई सुधारमा ल्याउनु भनेको रजोगुणी तमोगुणीका प्रभावहरू कम्ती गराउनु।
And we become we're more attached to the service of Lord Krishna.
अनि भगवानको कृष्णको सेवामा हामीले आफूलाई आसक्ति गराउनुपर्छ, आसक्ति बढाउनुपर्छ।
In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes the demoniac nature. He says in chapter 16, Lord Krishna said, Pavritim cha navritim cha janana vidur asuraha.
र भगवानले गीताको 16 अध्यायमा पनि यसरी आसुर प्रवृत्ति भएका गुणहरू उहाँले बताउनुहुन्छ।
Lord Krishna is saying the demons, they don't know what to do and what they shouldn't do.
र यसरी असुरहरूले के गर्नुपर्ने हो र के नगर्नुपर्ने कुरा यसलाई छुटाउन सक्दैन।
Just like before becoming a devotee, one may smoke cigarettes, one may drink beer, one may gamble, do all kinds of bad habits.
जस्तै प्रकारले कुनै मान्छे भक्त हुनुभन्दा पहिले उसको जीवनमा यसरी सिगरेट तान्ने, मांसाहार गर्ने, नशा अनि यसरी जुवाहरू खेल्ने उसको आचरणमा देख्न सकिन्छ.
But after one becomes a devotee, then one will not take part in any of these things.
तर जो त्यसरी पछि भक्त भइसकेपछि यी निन्दनीय कार्यहरू उसले गर्न छोड्दिन्छ.
Even people will come and offer alcohol and cigarettes, the devotee will not take them.
र कसैले त्यो भक्तलाई आएर कुनै यसरी सिगरेट तान्न लगायो भने पनि उसले यसलाई फेरि स्वीकार्ने छैन.
We see the example of Haridas Thakur, that a prostitute lady came tried to seduce him.
र हामीले नामचे हरिदास ठाकुरको जीवनमा हामीले उदाहरण देख्न सकिन्छ. र उहाँलाई यसरी एक दिन वेश्या आएर उनलाई आफूतिर उनले आकर्षित गराउनु.
But Haridas Thakur just told her, he said, "Oh, I'm busy just now, I have to chant the holy name." He told her, "You wait," and she waited and she heard him chanting.
र त्यतिखेर हरिदास ठाकुरले भन्नुहुन्छ, म एकदम व्यस्त छु, म हरिनाममा व्यस्त छु, तिमी यहाँ एकछिन बसेर मलाई प्रतीक्षा गर भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ.
So this went on for 2 days and nights. The second night, the prostitute also started to chant and she became a devotee.
र यसरी 2 दिन 2 रातसम्म वेश्याले यसरी प्रतीक्षा गरेपछि पछि उनले पनि भगवानको नाम उच्चारण गर्नु.
So this is the nature of a devotee, that they're very careful to avoid sinful activity.
र यो भक्तहरूको व्यवहार हो, भक्तहरूको आचरण. र उनीहरूले भक्तहरूले एकदम यसरी गलत आचरण नगर्नको लागि हमेशा सावधान हुन्छ.
A devotee should display good qualities. We should be free of passion and ignorance.
र भक्तहरू राम्रा आचरणहरू आफै आफमा ल्याउनको लागि प्रयास गर्नुहुन्छ. र हमेशा कहिले पनि रजोगुणी तमोगुणीका प्रभावले आफूलाई प्रभावित गराउन हुँदैन.
So Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demonic family, but still he's very gentle. He's not a demon.
र भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज यो असुरपुरमा जन्म लिए तापनि उहाँ एकदम भद्र पुरुष हुन्. कहिले पनि रजोगुणी तमोगुणीबाट प्रभावित हुनुभयो.
So Lord Nrsingha said, "I'm very pleased with you."
र भगवान नरसिंहदेवले भन्नुहुन्छ, हे प्रहलाद महाराज, तिमी गएर म अत्यन्त प्रसन्न छु.
And Lord Nrsingha tells Prahlad, "You are the best in the family of the demons."
र भगवान भन्नुहुन्छ, हे प्रहलाद, तिमी असुरहरूमा अत्यन्तै उत्तम छौ भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ.
And Lord Nrsingha said, "It's my pastime to fulfill the desires of all the people."
र भगवान नरसिंहदेव भन्नुहुन्छ, र जीवहरूको इच्छालाई पूरा गर्नु यो मेरो एउटा लीला हो.
So Lord Nrsingha tells Prahlad Maharaj, "I want you to ask for some benediction from me, and I'll be happy to give you your wish."
र अनि भगवान भन्नुहुन्छ, तिमीलाई के वर चाहिन्छ त्यो माग, तिम्रो वरलाई मैले पूरा गर्दैछु भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ.
So Lord Nrsingha, like Lord Krishna, they're very affectionate, they're very kind to devotees.
र नरसिंहदेव भगवान कृष्ण आफ्ना भक्तहरूप्रति अत्यन्तै दयालु हुनुहुन्छ, अत्यन्तै कृपालु हुनुहुन्छ.
And they always want to please the devotees and try to fulfill the desires of the devotees.
र हमेशा भक्तहरूलाई प्रसन्न गराउन खोज्नुहुन्छ, भक्तहरूको इच्छालाई पूरा गर्न खोज्नुहुन्छ.
They like to give service, they don't like to take service.
र भगवान नरसिंहदेव यसरी भगवानले पनि भक्तहरूलाई सेवा गर्न खोज्नुहुन्छ.
We, in the material world, we like people to serve us, we like to take service, but in the spiritual world, the greatest pleasure comes in giving service.
र भक्ति संसारमा हेर्ने भनेदेखि हामीले अरूबाट हामीले सेवा पाउनको लागि हामीले इच्छा गर्छौँ. तर आध्यात्मिक जगतमा भने अरूलाई सेवा दिनु नै अत्यन्तै त्यसमा सुखदायक छ.
Right? The more we become Krishna conscious, the more we want to serve.
र जति हामी कृष्ण भावनामा प्रगति गरौँ उति नै हामी सेवा गर्न चाहने गर्छौँ।
So the constitutional position of everyone is to be a servant of Krishna.
र जीवको स्वभाव पनि के हो भन्दाखेरि उसको भगवानको एउटा नित्यता छ।
So it's not surprising when Lord Nrsingha offered this benediction to Prahlad.
र यसरी भगवान नृसिंहदेवले प्रहलाद महाराज यसरी वर माग्नु भनेको वर माग भनेर भनेको यो कुनै आश्चर्यजनक।
He wants Prahlad to ask something. He wants to give something to Prahlad. Whatever Prahlad wants, Lord Nrsingha is ready to give him.
र भगवान नृसिंहदेवले चाहनुहुन्छ कि उहाँबाट प्रहलाद महाराजले कुछ न कुछ मागोस् र यसरी जुन जे कुरा प्रहलाद महाराजले माग्नुहुन्छ त्यसलाई पूरा गर्नको लागि भगवान तत्पर हुनुहुन्छ।
Actually, the personality of Godhead fulfills everyone's desires.
वास्तवमा भक्त मात्रै नभइकन हर जीवात्माको इच्छा पूरा गर्नुहुन्छ।
Because Krishna is in everyone's heart, he knows what everyone wants.
किनकि भगवान कृष्ण हर जीवात्माको हृदयमा हुनुहुन्छ, त्यसै कारणले कसले के चाहना गरेको छ भन्ने कुरा उहाँलाई थाहा हुन्छ।
So if Prahlad wants something, Lord Nrsingha will be happy to give it to him.
र यसरी प्रहलाद महाराजले कुछ माग्नु भयो भने भगवान नृसिंहदेव त्यसलाई दिनको लागि अत्यन्तै प्रसन्न हुनुहुन्छ।
And Prahlad may want to give something for someone else. He may want a benediction for someone else, not for himself, but for someone else. So Lord Nrsingha would be willing to do that also.
र प्रहलाद महाराज आफ्नो लागि नभइकन अरूहरूको लागि माग्नको लागि उहाँ इच्छा गर्नुहुन्छ र त्यसलाई पनि भगवान नृसिंहदेव तत्पर हुनुहुन्छ।
So if we get the blessings of a devotee, then we can also get the blessings of the Supreme Lord.
यदि हामीले कुनै भक्तहरूको आशीर्वाद हामीलाई मिल्यो भने हामीले भगवानको आशीर्वाद भगवानको कृपा पनि हामीलाई स्वतः मिल्छ।
So we always want to try to please the desire of our spiritual master.
र हामीले हमेशा हाम्रा गुरुहरूलाई प्रसन्न गराउनको लागि हामीले चाहना गर्नुपर्छ।
So in this Krishna consciousness movement, we all want to try to please Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder, Acharya.
र हाम्रो यो इस्कन संस्थामा पनि संस्थामा हेर्ने भनेदेखि इस्कन संस्थाका संस्थापक श्रील प्रभुपादजीलाई सबैले हामीले प्रसन्न गराउन गर्नुपर्छ।
Srila Prabhupada liked to see the devotees all happy in Krishna consciousness.
श्रील प्रभुपादजीले चाहनुहुन्छ कि कृष्ण भावना भाविक व्यक्ति सबै प्रसन्न भएको चाहनुहुन्छ।
He did not like to see the devotees quarreling and arguing with each other.
र भक्त एक आपसमा यसरी झगडा गरेको टन्डा गरेको प्रभुपादजीले चाहनुहुन्न।
Prabhupada would say, if the devotees are all arguing and quarreling with each other, this is the neophyte tendency.
र यो भक्तहरू यसरी एक आपसमा झगडा गर्ने टन्डा गर्ने भनेदेखि यो एकदमै नराम्रो कुरा।
And sometimes he would say, this is the influence of the age of Kali, that the personality of Kali has entered into your midst.
र यसरी झगडा गर्नु एकअर्कामा द्वेष गर्नु भनेको कलिको यो कलिद्वारा प्रभावित भएको र कलि उसको शरीरमा प्रवेश गरेको पनि भन्छ।
The symptom of the age of Kali is not only sinful activities, but it's also arguing and quarreling with each other.
र कलि भनेको मतलब खाली पापाचरण गरेको मात्रै नभइकन एक आपसमा यसरी झगडा गरेको पनि त्यसलाई कलिको प्रभाव भएको भन्छ।
We're not able to work together, we cannot cooperate with each other.
र एक आपसमा मिलेर बस्न नसक्नु झगडा गर्नु पनि कलिकै कुरा छ।
So when we cannot work together, then we'll never be able to attract new people into our movement.
र हामीले भित्रैका मान्छेमा एक आपसमा मिलेर बस्न सकेनौँ भने हामीले मान्छेलाई हामीले ल्याउन सक्ने छैन।
People are not working together, they all have bitter feelings towards each other. It creates a very bad atmosphere and will not attract interested people to enter.
यसरी एक आपसमा मिलेर नबस्न सक्नु, एक आपसमा यसरी द्वेषभाव राख्नु, एक अर्का आपसमा खुसी नहुनु, यो वातावरणले अरू नयाँ मान्छेलाई ल्याउन गाह्रो पर्दछ।
So we have to be very careful to guard against this tendency. We have to want to please the spiritual teachers.
र हामी सबै एकदमै सावधानपूर्वक हामीले यसलाई सुधार्नु पर्दछ र गुरुहरूलाई प्रसन्न गराउन चेष्टा गर्नुपर्दछ।
We have to know what is the desire of the spiritual teachers.
र हामीले जान्नु जरुरी छ कि आध्यात्मिक गुरुको चाहना इच्छा के छ भन्ने कुरा हामीले जान्न जरुरी छ।
Actually, the desire of the spiritual teacher is to see everyone develop in their Krishna consciousness.
र वास्तवमा आध्यात्मिक गुरुको चाहना के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि सबै भक्तहरू सबै शिष्यहरूको कृष्ण भावना भाविकमा प्रगति भएको देख्न चाहनुहुन्छ।
We have to develop a taste for the chanting of the holy name and for hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna.
र हामीले यसरी भगवानको नाममा रस हामीले विकसित गर्नुपर्छ। नाममा रस हामीले आस्वादन गर्न सक्नुको लागि हामीले आफूलाई बढाउनु पर्दछ र भगवानको कथामा पनि रुचि बढाउनु पर्दछ।
Sometimes we see devotees that they like very much to beat the drum, but they don't chant. They just beat the drum, they never sing.
र कोही भक्तहरू यसरी मृदङ्ग बजाउँछन् र बजाउनमा मात्रै उनी बिजी हुन्छन् कि तर भगवानको नाम उच्चारण गर्न खोज्दैनन्।
And they never chant on their japa beats. They hardly ever chant on the beats.
र यसरी माला पनि कहिलेमा उनले जप्ने छैन, जप्दैनन्।
So how can they develop the taste for Krishna consciousness if they're not following the process?
र यसरी जो विधानलाई पालन नगरिकन उनीहरू कसरी कृष्ण भावनामा उनीहरू विकास हुन सक्छ।
Krishna consciousness is in everyone's heart, but it has to be awakened by hearing.
र कृष्ण भावना हामी सबैको हृदयमा भइरहेको छ, तर त्यसलाई हामीले श्रवणद्वारा उसलाई विकास गराउनुपर्छ, उदय गराउनुपर्छ।
So we have to hear very carefully from the mouth of the spiritual teachers.
यसै कारणले आध्यात्मिक गुरुद्वारा हामीले एकदम सावधानपूर्वक श्रवण गर्न जरुरी छ।
Srila Prabhupada said, I never asked my Guru Maharaj any questions except one. I only had one question for him.
र प्रभुपादजीले भन्ने गर्नुहुन्थ्यो, मैले मेरा गुरुलाई एउटा प्रश्नदेखि बाहेक अरू कुनै मैले सोधिनँ।
Prabhupada asked his Guru, how can I serve you?
र त्यो एकमात्र प्रश्न थियो, गुरुदेव मैले हजुरलाई कसरी प्रसन्न गराउन सक्दछु।
So his spiritual master told him, he said, you're good in English language, you should use English to preach.
र प्रभुपादजीका गुरुले त्यतिखेर भन्नुभयो, तिमी अङ्ग्रेजीमा अत्यन्त पारङ्गत छौ र तिमीले अङ्ग्रेजी भाषाद्वारा यसको प्रचार गर भनेर भन्नुभयो।
So Srila Prabhupada thought deeply about how he could preach. He began the magazine Back to Godhead, printing his newspaper in English.
र यो वाणीलाई प्रभुपादजीले आफ्नो जीवनमा सिरियसली लिनुभयो र अनि म्यागजिनहरू उहाँले छपाउन सुरु गर्नुभयो।
Then someone told him that, Swamiji, you're printing newspapers, why don't you print a book?
र त्यतिखेर कसैले प्रभुपादजीलाई भने, हजुरले किन यसरी म्यागजिनहरू निकाल्नु भएको, किन पुस्तकहरू वितरण गर्नु, किन पुस्तकहरू छाप्नु भनेर भन्नुभयो।
They said, you're printing newspapers, but these newspapers, they get thrown away, they get lost. But if you print a book, then people will keep the book. It will be more useful.
र हजुरले यसरी म्यागजिनहरू छाप्नु भयो भने यो मान्छेले पढिसकेपछि फ्याक्नेछन्, तर पुस्तक हो भने पुस्तकहरू मान्छेले जतन गरेर उनीहरूले राख्नेछन् भनेर भन्नुभयो।
So Srila Prabhupada thought about this, and he thought this is good advice, and then he began to print Srimad Bhagavatam.
र यो बातलाई प्रभुपादजीले गम्भीरतापूर्वक स्वीकार्नु भयो र त्यहाँ पछाडि उहाँले श्रीमद् भागवतम छाप्न सुरु।
And he printed the first 3 volumes, the whole first canto. He printed it here in India.
अनि त्यसपछि प्रभुपादजीले इन्डियामै श्रीमद् भागवतम प्रथम स्कन्धलाई 3 भागमा उहाँले छपाउनु भयो।
So Prabhupada saw how the influence of Kali Yuga could affect the minds of the devotees and degrade them.
प्रभुपादजीले विचार गर्नुभयो कि भक्तहरूलाई कसरी यो कलिको प्रभावले वशीभूत गराउँछ र अनि फेरि पतन गराउन सक्दछ भन्ने उहाँले विचार गर्नुभयो।
But he knew that if they do a proper program of hearing and chanting, then they can be freed from this tendency to quarrel and argue.
तर प्रभुपादजीलाई थाहा थियो यदि भक्तहरूले यसरी श्रवण कीर्तनलाई गम्भीरतापूर्वक स्वीकार्ने यसरी प्रोग्रामहरूलाई राम्ररी बनाउने भनेदेखि उनीहरू कलिको प्रभावदेखि दूर हुनेछन् भनेर जान्नुभयो।
So Srila Prabhupada was enthusiastic to write the books, and he wrote his Bhagavatam, and he got it printed and put it in the libraries, and then when he had the chance, he would lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam.
त्यसपछि प्रभुपादजीले यसरी श्रीमद् भागवतमलाई छपाएर उहाँले यसरी लाइब्रेरीमा गएर उहाँले दिनुभयो र कतै कतै जग्गा उहाँले स्वयं गएर प्रचार पनि क्लासहरू दिनुहुन्थ्यो अनि यसरी उहाँले सुरु गर्नुभयो।
So Srila Prabhupada understood that if the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam was preached, it could purify the hearts of all the people. In the 11th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful verse which describes Kaler dosha nide rajan asti he ko mahat guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha parambrajat. That the Kali Yuga is an age of faults, a lot of faults in the Kali Yuga.
श्रीमद् भागवतम 11 स्कन्धमा एउटा सुन्दर श्लोक छ र त्यहाँ बताएको छ कि कलियुग दोषले भरिएको एउटा युग।
But simply by doing kirtan, one can cross over the ocean of the age of Kali.
तर पनि केवल भगवान नामको आश्रय लिनाले हामी संसार सागरबाट हामी पार हुन सक्छौँ।
So kirtan is not just only with madanga and kartals, but it's preaching the glories of the Supreme Lord.
र कीर्तन भन्नाले खाली करताल र मृदङ्ग बजाए बेला मात्रै कीर्तन गर्दैन, भगवानको गुण यशलाई प्रचार गरेको पनि कीर्तन हो।
So it was the desire of Srila Prabhupada that we would all work together to preach Krishna consciousness to every town and village.
र प्रभुपादजीको इच्छा थियो कि सबै भक्तहरू मिलेर एक आपसमा मिलेर भगवानको यसरी कृष्ण भावनाको प्रचार गरौँ भनेर उहाँको इच्छा थियो।
It is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's described the desire of Lord Chaitanya. Priti viti achiyat nagara digram sarvatra pracharhai be moranam. That the holy name will be chanted in every town and village all over the planet.
र चैतन्य चरितामृतमा पनि यसरी चैतन्य महाप्रभुको इच्छा प्रकट गरेको छ र उहाँले भन्नुहुन्छ भगवानको नाम हर गाउँमा हर शहरमा प्रचार होस् भनेर उहाँले भन्नुहुन्छ।
Right? They say Nagar Adigram. Nagar is a town, and the gram is the villages. So everywhere, every town and village, the holy name would be preached and chanted. Lord Chaitanya made the prediction that in the future it's going to happen, and all the people of the world are going to take part in the chanting. The Chinese will come and chant and dance, And the Russians will come and chant and dance, and the Africans will come, and they'll all join together. All the different people, different colored skin, different colored eyes, different heights, they'll all be one, they'll all be united in the Krishna consciousness movement. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami describes how all these different races can all be delivered. Kirita, Hunandra, Palinda Pukisha, Abira Shumba, Yavano Koshodaya, Yanyeta Papa, Yadapashraya Shraya, Shujanti Tasmai, Prabhavishnave Nama. Sukadeva Goswami describes different races of sinful people. Yeah, he says Kirita means the Africans. Hunandra means the Europeans. Then Pulinda, all different races from around the planet. They're all sinful. Nepalis are also sinful because they take birth here in this material world. Everyone who takes a birth in this material world is sinful. Of course, some are more sinful than others. But they can all be delivered by the mercy of the devotees of the Lord. We just have to be willing to give the mercy, to distribute it to them. So this was the desire of Lord Chaitanya, and Srila Prabhupada took up that mission. Although Srila Prabhupada was in elderly age, 70, he still went to America to preach. And he did not have money, he did not know people, but still he went. He was not thinking about his own self, he was thinking about the desire of Lord Chaitanya and the desire of his own Guru. So devotee wants to give service to others, and he wants to especially give service to his authorities, to the superiors. And if one can give just a little bit of service for the spiritual authorities, then it can be a great blessing for us. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami is speaking to the sages of Naimisharanya. Naimisharanya sages had put questions to Sutta Goswami, and Sutta Goswami is answering.
88,000 ऋषि मुनिहरूले सुत गोस्वामीलाई प्रश्न राख्छन् र त्यो प्रश्नलाई सुत गोस्वामीले उत्तर दिने हुनुहुन्छ।
And so they wanted to know, like, what is the essence of the Vedic scriptures?
र उहाँहरूले ऋषि मुनिहरूले प्रश्न गर्नुहुन्छ कि वेदको सार वस्तु के हो भनेर।
And they wanted to know, now that Lord Krishna has left the world, where are the religious principles to be found?
र यसरी भगवान कृष्ण नित्य धाम फर्केपछि धर्मले कसको आश्रय लियो, कसको शरण लियो भनेर प्रश्न गर्नुहुन्छ।
So Sutta Goswami was describing to them the Krishna conscious philosophy. And he told them, if somebody does not, he told them what to do if somebody does not like to hear.
र अनि त्यतिखेर भन्नुहुन्छ कि यदि सुत गोस्वामी त्यतिखेर कृष्ण भावनाको सिद्धान्तलाई बताउनुहुन्छ र यदि कसैले सुन्न चाहन्न भने त्यसलाई के गर्ने भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ।
We know people in the Kali Yuga, they're not very good hearers. They don't like to hear. They want to watch movies, they sit and watch movies for hours, but if they have to hear a Bhagavatam lecture, oh, they can't do it.
र कलियुगमा मान्छेहरू सुन्नमा त्यति उत्साह देखाउँदैन। उनीहरूले यसरी सिनेमाहरू मुभीहरू त हेर्छन् तर श्रीमद् भागवतमका सन्देशहरू सुन्नमा उनीहरूले रुचि देखाउँदैन।
Yeah, they're Kali Yuga people. They're very fallen.
यसरी कलियुगका
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hey, Haribol. Haribol, go. Hare Krishna. Sorry, my computer was down in power. I had to recharge. All right, so we were speaking about the desire of the spiritual master. We have to make that desire of the spiritual master our life and soul, the most important thing in our life. Right? We want to get the mercy of Krishna. We get the mercy of Krishna through the spiritual master. Problem is we don't hear carefully. So how can we develop the desire to hear better? We have to do more service. As we do service, we will purify our heart and we will hear better. The best service we can do for Krishna and Prabhupada is to distribute his teachings. So we are distributing, we give great importance to distributing books. There's many people on the planet, they still don't know about Krishna consciousness. They never got a book. And we have the Bhagavad Gita printed in many languages of the world. So I know in Burma, there's many different kinds of people. You've got Nepali, you've got Tamil people, you've got Sindhi people, you've got Chinese people, so many different races. We have to try to meet them, we have to try to introduce Krishna consciousness to them. It's not easy. We know Prabhupada worked very hard to distribute Krishna consciousness in America. So Prabhupada gave Krishna consciousness in the Western country to people who were not Hindu. Prabhupada didn't see any difference. He didn't think who's qualified or who's not qualified. He went everywhere and he would preach everywhere to everyone. Human life is very special. It's an opportunity to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Just look at Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is born in the most demoniac family. His father was such a big demon. And all the family were demons. They're from the family of demons. Demons means the mode of passion and ignorance. But Prahlad Maharaj, although he was born in the family of demons, he was a devotee. How did he become such a great devotee? Well, one reason was he got the mercy of Narada Muni. While he was still in the womb of the mother, his mother was in Narada Muni's ashram, and Narada Muni was speaking the scriptures to him.
Prahlad Maharaj गर्भमा हुनुहुन्थ्यो त्यतिखेर उहाँकी आमा नारद मुनिको आश्रममा रहनुहुन्थ्यो र त्यतिखेर नारद मुनिले त्यतिखेर श्रीमद् भागवतमको सन्देश दिनुभयो.
So when he took birth, he's already a great devotee.
र जब प्रहलाद महाराज यसरी जन्म लिनुभयो उहाँ स्वतः भक्त भइसक्नुभयो.
But it's not necessary that we have to just preach to children in the womb. We don't have to just only preach to children in the womb. We can preach to the children who are out of the womb. We have to give Krishna consciousness to these young people, to the children. And from the beginning of life, we have to educate them in Krishna consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj said to his school friends, because Prahlad was in the Gurukula, but the Gurukula for the demons.
Prahlad Maharaj Gurukulma हुनुहुन्थ्यो र गुरुकुलमा हुँदाखेरि उहाँका सहपाठीहरू पनि सबै असुरहरू थिए र त्यतिखेर पनि उहाँले प्रचार गर्नुभयो.
So Prahlad Maharaj said, Kumara charet pragno dharmam bhagavatam iha. When one is Kumar, Kumar means 5-year-old boy. From the age of 5, they should learn about Bhagavat Dharma.
र प्रहलाद महाराज भन्नुहुन्छ र मान्छेहरू यो कुमार अवस्था यो 5 वर्षको अवस्थादेखि नै उसले कृष्ण भावनालाई उसले स्वीकार्नुपर्छ.
If from the early age, if children are trained in Krishna consciousness, then they can grow up to be good devotees. It's our duty to bring up our children that they will also become Krishna conscious. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, do not become a mother or father unless you can deliver your children from birth and death. So it's a great responsibility. We all take responsibility. We don't want to be like Dhritarashtra, attached to the home. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, in the time of Lord Krishna, there was only one Dhritarashtra. But today, there's Dhritarashtra in every home. Dhritarashtra was blind materially and also blind spiritually. So how to open the eyes of these blind people We have to open their eyes with knowledge. Let them hear this teaching of Krishna consciousness. How to get them to hear? Sometimes they don't want to hear. You have to engage them first then in some service. Let them do some service for Krishna. Try to get everyone to come and join the Sankirtan party and chant and dance. And after chanting and dancing, let them take prasadam. This is Lord Chaitanya's program, chanting and dancing and prasadam. So even though the world is in a tense situation with so much virus everywhere, but still we can do kirtan, you can chant the holy name, you can dance. So we ask everyone, think seriously, how to become more Krishna conscious. How can I please Srila Prabhupada? This will make my life successful. Okay, any questions? Do you? Hare Krishna, Dhanabat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Hare Krishna, Guruji, मैले सोध्न खोजेको नि अब हामीले धेरैतिर देखिन्छ हैन हामीले के चाहिन्छ भने भगवानसँग माग्नु जरुरी छैन भगवानले आफै जानेर दिनुहुन्छ भन्ने तर फेरि अर्कोतिर भगवानले प्रहलाद महाराजलाई ध्रुव महाराजलाई चाहिँ फेरि उहाँले सोध्नु भयो के चाहिन्छ तिमीले भन भन्दै हो त्यो कसरी बुझ्ने भन्ने नि कसरी बुझ्ने भन्ने कुरा भन्नु ल
Guruji asked you that we know from many scriptures that we don't need to ask from God. He knows what devotees want. So, in the Leela of Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, why God asking to Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj to ask something? So, how can we understand between these two pastimes?
Well, you could think maybe the Lord is testing these devotees. He wants to show the nature of these pure devotees, that even when they're offered benedictions, they're not interested. If we're offered the chance of a benediction, we have many things we want. We have a big list, oh, give me this, give me that. You know, we have so many desires. But these pure devotees, they don't have any desires. At least no material desires. So that's the nature of devotion, pure devotion, that they simply want if they have any desire, it's simply for the service of Krishna. It's nothing for sense gratification. Of course, Dhruva Maharaj, he went in the beginning, he had material desire, but he became purified. Right? Dhruva Maharaj in the beginning, he was very angry, and he had he wanted revenge, he wanted to get a kingdom greater than his father, greater even than his grandfather. And so he met Narada Muni, and Narada Muni gave him some instructions about how he could do sadhana. And so the result was that within 6 months, Dhruva Maharaj was able to meet God. Right, the Lord personally appeared to Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was doing his austerities in the forest there in Vrindavan, and the Supreme Lord came there on the back of Garuda. So when the Lord saw, when Dhruva Maharaj saw the Supreme Lord, he was so satisfied, he didn't want anything. But the Lord told him that no, you wanted something, now you have to take it. And he told Dhruva Maharaj, you have to go to the Dhruva Loka planet, the pole star planet. You have to go and live there. So Dhruva Maharaj, he regretted a little that he had asked for something, because after he'd actually seen the Lord, he understood he didn't want anything material. So you have to be very careful what we desire, because when we get something material, we might regret it. Material desires will keep us in the material world. And we have to take birth again and again to fulfill these different desires. So we learn from these great devotees how we should control our mind, and we shouldn't allow our mind to keep a lot of material desires. Just like Gajendra, the elephant. Gajendra, the elephant, you know, he was fighting with the crocodile and he was suffering. The crocodile was biting his leg and wouldn't let go of his leg, and he was in a lot of pain.
अनेकौं वर्षसम्म उनले लडाईँ भयो र उनले गजेन्द्रको खुट्टालाई गइले यसरी जबरजस्ती उनले पानीतिर तान्नु.
So Gajendra prayed to the Lord, and the Lord came and he killed the crocodile.
र त्यतिखेर गजेन्द्रले भगवानलाई प्रार्थना गरेर अनि भगवान आएर त्यो गोलीलाई मार्नु.
But Gajendra regretted. He said, "Oh, you killed the crocodile. That crocodile got liberated. I wish you'd killed me. I could have got liberated."
र त्यतिखेर गजेन्द्रले पश्चाताप गर्नुहुन्छ कि तपाईले यसरी गोलीलाई मारेर उसको उद्धार भयो, मुक्ति भयो, मलाई चाहिँ मार्नु पर्थ्यो भनेर उहाँले दुःख प्रकट गर्नु.
I have to be this elephant. I'm in this elephant body. It's so much trouble. It's such a big problem to be an elephant.
र भन्नुहुन्छ कि यो मैले यो हात्तीको शरीर पाएको छु र हात्तीको शरीर एकदम ठुलो छ, एकदम दुःखदायक छ यो एकदम शरीर भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ.
So Gajendra regretted. He just prayed only to get free of the crocodile, but he said, "I hate this elephant body. I want to get free of this body."
र त्यतिखेर उहाँले पश्चाताप गर्नुहुन्छ कि मलाई यो हात्तीको शरीर मिलेको छ, म यो शरीरदेखि मुक्त हुन चाहना गर्छु भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ.
We have two elephants here in Mayapur. They're big. So these elephants, people come and they look at them, and of course the elephant body is so different from everybody else. You could imagine how it must be so difficult to be in the elephant body. Everybody comes and looks at you, and they may want to touch you, and and you're in that elephant body. Would you like to be an elephant? Who would like to be an elephant? Oh, it's not a very good birth. So you have to be very careful about taking another body, take another birth in the material world. It can be very dangerous. But if you're a great devotee, like Prahlad Maharaj or Uddhava prayed, he said, "I want to be a blade of grass in Vrindavan." He said, "If I can be a blade of grass, then when the gopis walk, I'll get the dust from their feet. So that will be the greatest mercy." But Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed, he said, "Let me become a dog, but let it be in the home of a Vaishnava." Of course, the Vaishnava is not going to let the dog in the house, but if he has a dog, he'll keep it in the yard, he'll keep it outside. But if he's in the care, under the care of a Vaishnava, a devotee, then from the devotee he will get prasadam and he'll hear the chanting of the holy name. And if you have to take another birth again, Just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, he was in the Himalayas and he was doing his spiritual practice there, but somehow he got attached to a deer and he took his next birth as a deer.
भरत महाराजको जीवनीमा हेर्न सकिन्छ कि उहाँ हिमालयको निकटमा उहाँले भजन साधन गरेर बस्नु तर कारणवश हिरणमा गएर उहाँको आसक्ति भएर अर्को जन्ममा उहाँ हिरण
He had been living alone in the Himalayas and he'd saved the life of a little deer and he became very affectionate, very attached to that deer. And then one day when he was in the mountains, he fell somewhere and he died and he thought of the deer. Next life he became a deer in the Himalayas. But because he'd been already quite advanced in spiritual practice, he could remember his previous life. So he felt very bad that previously he'd been a great yogi, a very advanced yogi, and now he'd got the body of an animal. So although he was in the animal body, he was very careful to always go where the different great sages and yogis were, and somehow he'd get some of the remnants of their food. And quickly he gave up the animal body. Animals don't have very long lives compared to humans. So he gave up that body. Next life he took birth in a Brahmana family. So birth in a Brahmana family is an advantage. It's an advantage because from the beginning of life you get some spiritual education. But it's also a disadvantage because people, when they're born in Brahmana families, they have a feeling that they're better than other people. And they become conditioned to being happy and having knowledge. They think they're superior to other people, other classes of people. Actually, in the Kali Yuga, there are no real Brahmanas. Everyone is like a Sudra or lower by birth. We have to be elevated by spiritual birth, by the second birth. Right? Everyone, you have to get this initiation. Spiritual initiation is very important. It's the second birth. It qualifies us for spiritual practice.
र यसरी आध्यात्मिक मार्गमा हामीहरू दीक्षित भएर हाम्रो दोस्रो जन्म सुरु हुन्छ र यसरी यो आध्यात्मिक मार्गमा दीक्षित हुन अत्यन्तै जरुरी छ।
Everyone has got a mother and father of the body. You have a mother and father. Mother gives birth to you, father, the wife of the mother. So we have that. But only every living entity has that. Even the dogs, even the birds and the fish, they all have a mother and father. But only the fortunate person gets the spiritual teacher.
मान्छेमा मात्रै नभएर हर प्राणीहरुमा मनुष्यमा जीवन पशुहरुमा पनि सबैको आमा बाबुहरु हुन्छ। यो आमा बाबु पाउनु यो ठूलो कुरा हो, तर आध्यात्मिक गुरु पाउन चाहिँ अत्यन्तै दुर्लभ छ।
Then by the grace of the spiritual teacher, then you can get the mercy of Krishna.
र यदि हामीले गुरुको कृपा पायौं भने मात्रै हामीलाई भगवान कृष्णको कृपा मिल्छ।
The spiritual master has a connection to Krishna. So we get the mercy of the spiritual master, we can get the mercy of Krishna. So very important to get this connection with the spiritual teacher and to fulfill the desire of the spiritual teacher.
यसै कारणले गुरुसँग सम्पर्क राख्नु अत्यन्त महत्त्वपूर्ण छ अनि गुरुलाई हामीले प्रसन्न पनि गराउन प्रयास गर्नुपर्छ।
So this is called devotional service, bhakti yoga, serving the pure devotees, is service to Krishna.
र यसलाई भक्तिमय सेवा भन्दछ र गुरुको सेवा गर्ने अनि गुरुको सेवाद्वारा भगवान कृष्णलाई प्रसन्न गराउने।
The spiritual master is not Krishna, but he is the representative of Krishna. And whatever service you offer to him, he will offer to Krishna. And so it's not that the spiritual master needs anything from you, but we need to serve Krishna. Krishna is giving us so much. Krishna is providing, he is maintaining everyone. He is the one Supreme Lord, and he provides the needs of all the living entities. Right? The food, the water, the air. Everything comes from Krishna. We are taking everything from Krishna and we're not thanking him. We're meant to do yajna, we're meant to perform sacrifice to repay Krishna. And the proper sacrifice we're supposed to do, Harinam Sankirtan. This is the proper yajna in the Kali Yuga. All the other yagas are not much effective, but the Harinam Sankirtan, that is the real yajna. So you may be one person, you can do the yajna, you can chant the holy name yourself. But you can also join with others. If you can get other people to also join with you. Together you can all chant the holy name. The louder you chant, the more powerful it becomes. So the family which chants together, they will stay together. So Hemalata Thakurani, are you doing kirtan at home? Are you having kirtan with your son?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, we do Gaura Arti.
You do Gaura Arti every day? Really? Is your husband with you?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. How long have you been back in Burma?
We don't know yet.
Are you in Burma now?
No, in Krabi.
Oh, you're still in Krabi? Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, मेरो एउटा प्रश्न छ अघि जो महाराजले बताउनु भएको थियो नि सुरुमा प्रहलाद महाराज हमेशा सतोगुणमा स्थित हुनुहुन्छ भन्ने कुरा तर हामीले सुन्ने गरिन्छ शुद्ध भक्तहरू त गुणातीत हुन्छन् हैन र तीन गुणदेखि माथि यसलाई हामीले कसरी बुझ्ने त सोधिनु
Prabhuji asking that Maharaj had said that Prahlad Maharaj was always in Satogun, in mode of goodness, but we have learned from many sources that Shuddha Bhakta is always transcendental to mode of material modes. So, how can we understand?
Yes. Prahlad Maharaj is in the mode of pure goodness, no influence of passion and ignorance. So that's the mode of goodness, it's pure goodness. There's there's no passion and no ignorance.
Prahlad Maharaj, यसरी अरु रजगुण तमोगुण द्वारा मिश्रित भएको सतोगुणमा नभइकन वहाँ एकदम शुद्ध सत्तामा हुनुहुन्छ.
As far as we are concerned, we are influenced by the modes. We're not yet in the mode of pure goodness. We have to come to the mode of goodness. We have to become more focused on the mode of goodness and get rid of the passion and ignorance. Right? The mode of passion means you get angry and you speak nasty, harsh words to each other, arguing, quarreling. The mode of ignorance, we sleep a lot, we're very lazy, we're dirty. Sometimes we chant, sometimes we don't chant, sometimes our chanting not very good. No, sometimes we chant, we go to sleep. Sometimes we're not paying attention when we hear the classes. So we have to come more to the mode of goodness. And then from the mode of goodness, then you can come to the level of pure goodness, like Prahlad. Prahlad Maharaj is a prema bhakta. He has love of God. He sees God everywhere.
Prahlad Maharaj prema bhakta हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँले हर जग्गामा उहाँले भगवानको दर्शन गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ.
But if we want to come up to that level, first we have to come to the mode of goodness. Then from the mode of goodness, then you have to come to the transcendental platform, to pure goodness, when you get rid of all the passion and ignorance.
हामीले पनि त्यस्तो चाहना गर्छौं भने पहिला सुरु हामी रजोगुण तमोगुण माथि भएको सतगुणमा आउनुपर्छ अनि त्यहाँदेखि पनि अझै हामीले शुद्ध सत्वको जुन यो दिव्य स्तरमा आउनको लागि हामीले प्रयास गर्नुपर्छ. त्यतिखेर मात्रै अरु रजोगुण तमोगुणका प्रभावहरू हटेका हुन्छन्.
Then we have to go on from pure goodness, you have to go on to develop prem, to develop love for God.
र यसरी हामी शुद्ध सत्वमा भयौं भने बल्ल हामीले भगवानप्रति प्रेम हामीले धर्मनन्दन बढाउन सक्छौं.
So there's different stages in practicing devotional service.
र यसमा धेरै क्रमिक विकासहरू छन् यो हाम्रो भजन साधनमा.
Until we get rid of all the passion and ignorance, we're still doing anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti is where you remove the passion and ignorance.
र यसरी हामीले यो रजोगुण तमोगुणलाई हटाउनको लागि हामीले गर्नुपर्छ. अनर्थ निवृत्तिलाई हामीले हटाउनुपर्छ.
Then after anartha nivritti, then comes nishta. You're very fixed and very steady, very regular. You do all the seva, very regular.
र यसरी अनर्थ निवृत्तिदेखि माथि हामी अझै माथि अघि चढौँ भने हामी निष्ठामा हुन्छ. र निष्ठामा भएपछि हाम्रो आफ्नो साधनामा हामी पक्का हुन्छौँ, संकल्पमा पक्का हुन्छौँ.
Then ruchi comes. You get more taste for the chanting. You get more taste for devotional service.
त्यहाँ निष्ठादेखि पनि माथि हामी अझै अघि बढ्यौँ भने हामीमा रुचि हुन्छ अनि भगवानको सेवामा भगवानको नाममा हामीमा रुचि आउन थाल्छ.
And then after ruchi, then comes asakti, where we become detached from all the material things. We don't even think about the material things anymore.
र अनि त्यहाँ रुचिदेखि पनि माथि आयो भने हामी आसक्ति हुन्छौँ अनि आसक्तिको अवस्थामा चाहिँ हामी संसारपट्टि हामी अनासक्त हुन्छौँ.
And then comes bhava. Bhava is a preliminary stage before prema.
र त्यहाँभन्दा पनि अझै अगाडि भावको स्थिति आउँछ. भाव भनेको प्रेमको प्राथमिक एउटा स्थिति हो. प्रेम उदय हुनुभन्दा पहिला आउने एउटा स्थिति हो.
Right? Bhava means the ecstasy, devotional service and ecstasy. You want ecstasy? You want to experience ecstasy?
र यो भाव भनेको प्रेममा आउने एउटा किसिमको भाव हो र हजुरलाई पनि यो भाव आउनु मनपर्छ.
We have to go through all these other levels to come to bhava, and then from bhava then you get prema.
र हामी यो यसरी स्टेप बाई स्टेप हामीहरू भावसम्म आउनको लागि प्रयास गर्नुपर्छ अनि भावदेखि पनि फेरि प्रेम.
So Prahlad Maharaj, he's a very, very special devotee. He's a prema bhakta. He has love of God. He sees God everywhere.
र प्रहलाद महाराज एकदम विशेष भक्त हुनुहुन्छ, प्रेमी भक्त हुनुहुन्छ. उहाँले हर जग्गामा भगवानको दर्शन गर्नुहुन्छ.
We're just neophytes. We're still struggling, trying to become devotees.
र हामी यहाँ एकअर्कामा आपसमा हामी झगडा मात्रै गर्छौँ अनि यसरी द्वेषभाव राख्छौँ.
Prabhupada would say to be a devotee is not an easy thing.
प्रभुपादजी भन्नुहुन्छ शुद्ध भक्त बन्नु सजिलो कुरा हैन.
We have to practice. We have to cultivate the qualities.
र हामीहरूले आफैलाई हामीले प्रयास गर्नुपर्छ. सावधानपूर्वक हामीहरूले राम्रा गुणहरू आर्जित गर्नुपर्छ.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण.
Any other yes?
धन्यवाद प्रभु.
हजुर धन्यवाद.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki. Go back to Vrinda ki. Hare Krishna.